Hey guys, the sci-fi movie guy here. Today I will tell you about a sci-fi horror movie called Morgan. Just leave a like on this video, sit back and relax. Leigh Weathers is a risk management specialist for genetic engineering company Synsec. She arrives at a rural site hosting its -9 Leigh project, an artificial being with nanotechnology-infused synthetic DNA named Morgan. The hybrid biological organism with the capacity for autonomous decision-making and sophisticated emotional responses is smarter than humans and matures quickly, walking and talking within a month, and physically a teenager, despite being 5 years old. The cold and precise Weathers, who insists on calling Morgan it, is at the site to assess the project, while a psychologist evaluates Morgan, who has used a pen to stab Dr. Kathy Grief in the eye. Over dinner with a team of 8 scientists, Weathers and project leaders Dr. Louis Cheng and Dr. Simon Ziegler discuss an incident in Helsinki involving Cheng, in which 21 Synsect researchers were killed in an hour by crude prototypes. Leigh learns that Morgan attacked Grief when she was prohibited from leaving her room, a glass cell, after killing a deer impaled on a fallen tree while outside. The scientists have reared Morgan from birth following 2 failed attempts, and most consider her to be their child. Grief defends Morgan to Weathers despite her injury, and Dr. Amy Menser wants to resume taking her on outings. Menser promises to take Morgan to a nearby lake that she describes as wonderful. The behavioral therapist understands that Morgan is, despite her intellect and physical appearance and abilities, emotionally childlike. Although Morgan considers Cheng to be her mother, the scientist is pessimistic about the project. She admits to Weathers that she ended the outings, as it is cruel to expose Morgan to a world she cannot be allowed to enter. Psychologist and artificial intelligence expert Dr. Alan Shapiro arrives to assess Morgan, and quickly defies the scientist's requests to stay outside Morgan's room for the assessment. When Shapiro aggressively taunts Morgan as part of his evaluation, she becomes angry and spontaneously kills him. Weathers tranquilizes Morgan after a brief escape, and decides that she is too unpredictable and must be terminated. The scientists refuse to kill Morgan. Before Weathers can do so, they shoot her with a tranquilizer dart and imprison her in the cell in which Morgan was held. The scientists plan to escape with Morgan, but after waking, Morgan, believing they have betrayed her, kills most of them, while Ziegler commits suicide. In the scientist's house, Cheng records an apology for the failure of the project. The scientists tried to make Morgan more human than the previous attempts, so she could exceed her design as a combat weapon, but found that the result was harder to control. Morgan arrives and, after conversing with her mother in Chinese, manually suffocates her. Weathers escapes the cell and briefly fights Morgan, able to match her. Morgan flees with the terrified Menser, who Morgan says is the only scientist who was a real friend to her. Weathers and nutritionist Skip Vronsky follow the pair. Vronsky deduces that Morgan has forced Menser to take her to the lake, which entrances Morgan. She and Weathers fight again, seemingly matched in strength and speed. Morgan knocks down Weathers, who is impaled on the branch of a fallen tree. Morgan flees again and meets with Menser at the pier, but Weathers, having survived the impaling, appears and forcibly drowns her into the water. She then shoots Menser and Vronsky, apologizing first, before leaving the scene. Weathers' superior at Synsect and another executive discuss the incident. They decide that it proves that the company's earlier -4 Leigh project is superior. When the executive asks about Weathers, the superior says she is perfect, revealing that Weathers is actually the -4 Leigh prototype, lacking much of the emotional development Morgan had. Waiting in another room, Weathers makes the same gesture with her hands as Morgan did. Thanks for watching. You can check out my other movies here.